Okay, the first thing you need to do is go to the website GateAccess.net. This will bring you to a login screen, and then you need to select our community because we're not the only community using this system. We have set up TLA as our community code for the Landings Association. Next, you're going to enter in your username. That is your email address we have on file for you, your primary email address. You may have a couple on file, so if one doesn't work, try the other one. And then your password is your guest pass pin. So on this screen, it talks about using your home phone number and that kind of thing, but that's not what we're using. We're using the guest pass pin because that's what people are used to. Next, you're going to click Login, and this will take you to an overall overview page. We'll go through each of these tabs together so we can show you what each of these tabs do. Your contact information up top is going to list your lot and your primary phone and the occupants of the house. Maybe it's a renter. We have this in as an example screen. And then if you have email addresses already entered in, you'll see up to 2 email addresses. You can add a third, you can add a second if you don't have one in there. Cell phones and home phones. So your home phone may be pre-populated. You may need to add it in. The cell phone is good to have in here because, as you see on the screen down here, if you select your cell phone provider for the cell phones, the 1 or the 2, when you have guests arrive, you can choose to have a text message sent to your phone when your guest comes. So that's a handy update that we have in there. And then also you can choose to be alerted whenever you have guest arrival, whether you want to have all of them letting you know or only temporary or not having alerts going on. So you can adjust that there. And we always have this help button on the screens too, so you can click on help and it will provide some information about your what you can do on this screen. So if you make any changes, just remember to click update information so it will save it into the system for you. The next screen is the guest list, and this is where you're going to put in permanent and temporary guests, and we do ask that you put in vendors as well. They may have barcodes that they buy, they may buy the daily pass. This just helps us keep track of if a vendor is coming to visit you and make sure that they're able to be in the system. So you're not really going to see a lot of information in here. You'll have to go in and add in the information. So if we add in a new guest, as an example, if it's a company, put in the company name. If it's a guest that you have, then you go ahead and put in their full name. And then if you want it to be a permanent guest, then you would just leave the start date and end date blank. So that means whenever they come to the gate, they'll be able to get in because they're on your permanent guest list. Now, if you want them to have the barcode on their car as a frequent visitor, you still can do that, and that has a charge to go along with that, so they can enter any of the automated gates. But this allows you to have other people who may not visit all that frequently to come in without you having to continue to call in guest passes or do an online guest pass for them. But if you want to have a start and end date, you can go ahead and pick a start and end date. So let's use as an example a few days for that. If you have any notes for the security that you want to have, put that in. Of course, this isn't a vendor, so we're going to say update. And then now we've just added Jane Doe, and you see the start date and the end date for her. If she were a vendor, we could have clicked the vendor button, so you see like Molly Maids as an example, they are checked off as being a vendor. We have a note in there that has a barcode, so they can just come in with a barcode anyway. Again, we just want to keep track of that. And then when one of your guests comes in, if you did set this up on the other screen to be alerted, when the guests come, you'll get a text message to your phone. Now, one caveat on that is if you have a vendor coming in and they're visiting multiple people in one day, you may or may not be notified because they just need to tell the security when they enter in who they're going to go see, and if they don't have a barcode, and they're paying their pass. And if they're visiting multiple people, then you might not be notified on that. So just keep that one in mind. Also on this guest list, if you're doing multiple guests, so you're having an event, party or something like that going on, you can add multiple guests right here. So you just would pick the date that the event's going on, and you'd start adding in the names and any notes you have. And if you click on Update Guest List at that point, then you would see several pop up. So here's an example. If we do like John Doe 2 and Jane Doe 2, just as an example here, and we say update guest list, then you're going to see Jane Doe 2 and John Doe 2, they already pop up on your list, and you see the start and the end date for that. So that's an easy way to do multiple people at one time. Then on the entry log screen, you will see when people have come in who are on your guest list. That's just a good way to keep track of, you've put them on, when did the people actually come in and get logged into the system. So this is a handy way. Again, we always have the help screen here too, so you can click on that and it'll provide the information. And here's what I was just talking about. If they go to multiple addresses rather than their house, they may be logged in as a different address than yours if they're doing that at multiple addresses in one day. Emergency contacts, we do urge you to put in emergency contacts here. You can just click add an emergency contact and put in the information that they have, phone, secondary phone, any notes. Notice if they have a key to your house or not. And I'm not adding any right now, so just hit cancel, but you could go in and see, has a key and an alarm, and you can edit the person if you need to make a change on it or on a phone number or something like that. Notes, maybe you have an email address you want to add in for somebody as well. That would be a good place to do it. That's also important if you're going out of town. You can do the vacation notification, which is a little bit different than how we used to do it. And you would add a new vacation by clicking add new vacation. Do your leave date. All right, we're going to leave then, and we'll be back, be gone for 3 weeks. And if you want to add any notes in, you can do that like you see there. But meanwhile, I just added in when I'm gone and leaving. Can't insert. Okay, so this is already listed because I already had a date out of town at this time, so I can't enter in being gone at the same time. So let me just pick a different date here. We'll do May 2nd for the example, and then the return date will be, let's make that May 25th. We'll update that, and there you go. So now security will go by and do weekly checks of your house while you're gone to make sure everything's locked up securely. Pet information, if we have information on file for you already for your pets, you're a dog park user, then we'll have in the dog information. If we don't, you can certainly add a new pet, or if you have cats or that kind of thing. You also can upload a picture, so if you want to add a picture to it, it has to be a small size. Then you can upload a picture for your pet as well. That just is, again, helps us to keep track of information, and if we ever need to help you track something down, we can do that as well. The vehicles, this is what we have on file for you. There may be some that it's a view only feature, so you can't add them in. You may have gotten rid of a vehicle that we're not aware of. Just let us know. Just call the office or email the office and let us know, and we will update your records for us, because if you don't tell us you've sold a vehicle or traded one in or something, it's still going to show up on your record. So that's just a good chance to help us out. Login information. This is if you want to change your username or password. Again, to start off with, your username is your primary email and your password is your guest pass pin. If you want to change that information, this is your chance to do it. And then we're not using the vendor tab, so we do have information on file for vendors that you can come in and look at our book on file. So we're not using this section right here, but that's the rest of the information. You can log off by clicking the log off button right over here, and that'll take you back to the main login screen, and that's how you're going to use the new system.